A lot of small box adventure games promise you a really big adventure in just a tiny little box, and some of them really deliver on that promise. Tonight we're looking at Kinfire Delve, and does this itty bitty box promising me a big adventure deliver on that promise? Let's find out.
Leave work behind and pull up a chair, my friend, because it's finally time for Games and Trades!
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're looking at Kinfire Delve, which is a really neat little solo or two-player game that somebody turned me on to very recently, and I just liked it so much I had to go out and get a couple of copies of it. And the reason for that is because the Kinfire Chronicles is a larger dungeon delve kind of game, not unlike something like Descent or Imperial Assault. But this is a much smaller card-based system. So when I say I've got a couple of them, so it comes in this box right here, and there are different episodic type boxes of this game, kind of like Final Girl or something kind of similar. And it is the producer is Incredible Dream Games. It is a 1 or 2 player game in this box, and it takes about 60 minutes to complete a game. So if you buy multiple boxes, and this is kind of neat, like different episodes or different schemes or whatnot, you can actually do this as a 3 or 4 player game, or you can mix and match some of the villains from the box and the heroes, which is really kind of gives a way to kind of give yourself some different experiences for not a whole lot of extra investment. And this game, unlike its much larger counterpart, these are only $20 a piece, so you actually get yourself a decent amount of gameplay for a pretty decent price point looking at Kinfire Delve. So just looking through my setup right here, as you can see, this is it. Like this is all that the game consists of right here. So I have selected one of the heroes that comes in my box. In this case, I'm using Valora Helmsman because I just love an archer in almost everything. In Oblivion, Skyrim, I was always the guy who was doing Thieves Guild, Assassin's Guild, Bow Fighter. You know, I always love that kind of thing. So had to give this one a try. She has an ability that for each bow tagged card I play as an action or boost, you may add 1 progress to any challenge not currently being attempted. Now, once we start looking at some of the card types, we'll get a little more insight as to what that means. You'll also notice next to her, I have this lantern card, and that's going to be a special ability that she has. I don't start the game with it flipped, but there are certain abilities or rewards that will allow me to flip my lantern card and use the powerful ability underneath. So once this flips over and we have a chance to take a look at it, we'll look at what her super special ability is. In the middle of my setup, this is my boss character, in this case his name is Callous. Now, this is one of the 3 forms of Callous that come in the box, and each one of them has a little bit of a different condition that'll happen once I get to him. Around him are all these cards. These are his well. Now, these are the cards that I have to kind of fight, adventure, or power my way through to be able to get to the bottom of the well and face off against him. So right now he's got these 4 cards surrounding him, which shields him from me being able to interact with him directly. Over the course of the game, as I remove some of these cards, I will draw from my well deck, which you can see over here. That's going to give me additional monsters, challenges, puzzles, etc. that I'll have to get through before I can get directly to Callous. Now, once this deck has been completed, once I've gone through the whole thing and I can't draw anymore, then I will be able to face off with the boss directly, and he's got a final gauntlet that I need to get through that we'll go through once I get to him at the end. Up here you can see where I have it looks like a little guy who is exhausted. So this is my exhaustion deck. So unlike most other card games, as I'm going through my deck of cards here, I'm not going to be able to just redraw up once my hand is gone. If I want to get additional cards in my hand, I am going to have to take one of these exhaustion cards, which is going to be some sort of downside or disadvantage, or even a loss condition, to be able to discard what remains of my hand and draw back up to full. So a little bit of a neat turn on a deck builder or deck adventure type of game. I just don't refill my hand. I've actually got to make some choices about when and how I want to refill my hand. Now, there are going to be some benefits that will allow me to draw additional cards as well, and that's just going to be a way I'm going to kind of manage my hand throughout the game so that I'm not taking too many different kinds of exhaustion. So I want to look here at one of these cards specifically and just kind of give you a little bit of the anatomy here. If I look at the triplets, we can see a couple things about them. First of all these cards have a color or a symbol that you could see in the upper left-hand portion of the card. That is giving me the number that I have to pass. So all my cards are going to give me some amount of power, just like in a lot of other deck building type games. That's the number I'm going to need to equal or exceed to be able to remove that challenge from the board. So it has a color, and that's because only certain colored cards that I'm going to have in my hand are going to be able to interact with it. So for this green card, I'm not going to be able to use the red or the blue cards in my hand to interact. I'm going to have to use green. There is also, for any folks that are a little color sensitive, there's also a shape directly under the number 2 that will help you determine which cards can interact with one another directly. Under the challenge rating, there is a little trophy spot. That is going to be my rewards for overcoming the challenge. And then the skull, that is my penalty if I cannot overcome the challenge. So if I can't do seven powers worth of damage to the triplets all in one go, I would take 1 damage, like it says here on their card with the skull. But as soon as I am able to overcome them, that's when I would get this benefit, which in this case is letting me delve deeper into the deck. So let's look at a little bit of some of the cards we have here in our deck, and I'm going to show you what this means a little bit. So looking first at like Noble Education, which I'll pull up. So this has a power of 3. It also is able to interact with blue or green cards, so I can use it to interact with either type of challenge. And then when I use it as an action, it also has text on the card that I can utilize as part of its power. In this case, after this action, I can advance, or I may either draw a card or move up to 2 progress from any card to a challenge. So that's going to be something I'll need to keep in mind. Something else I can do with these cards is boosting. So if I'm still looking at Noble Education, at the bottom of the card, you see it also interacts with green and with blue. It has a +2 on it. That means if I want to play it to just boost another action, I get +2 on top of what the action already gives me. There are a couple cards in my hand, like Standing Tall, that are white. And these are cards that are going to allow me to interact with anything on the board. So they're like a wild card. And they're pretty rare. Like as I'm going through my deck here, you can see I only have 3 cards that are white cards. So those wild cards are going to be a little bit difficult to come across as I throw everything all over my table. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to give each deck a little shuffle, and then we will go through any more of the rules that come up during the game as they come. So just get my well deck here. Oh. And not only are these cards brand new, but they're that kind of nice linen finish, so they're scooting a little bit this evening. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw up to 8 cards. Now, because I'm playing solo, that means I get a hand of 8. If you play with 2 players, like you can with the base box, you're going to draw fewer cards. Or if you have a couple of boxes and you're playing with 3 or 4 players, you'll draw even fewer cards to kind of represent a little bit of an advantage you have, or a disadvantage you have from having less players. So looking at my initial hand, I've got Acid Arrow, I've got Capture Rune, Trailblazer, Eyes of the Huntress, Noble Education, Sharp Eyes, Splatter Arrow, and Valor's Bow. All right, so now that we have our cards in hand, let's look at the challenges that we have available to us. So we already looked at the triplets. We have an idea about what they do. But our other challenges here are Callous' Cipher, which is a pretty brutal challenge at 14 total power. But when I complete it, I put it aside and all my non-combat challenges enter with 2 progress on them, which is pretty great. That's going to reduce the overall amount of progress that I need to make on non-combat challenges, which is going to help me really power through the deck, and hopefully they have some pretty good benefits. So that's pretty interesting to me right up top. The Planetary... one more thing about the Callous' Cipher is that there is no fail condition here. that means that I'm not going to take any hit point damage or anything if I just decide to power through this very quickly. The planetarium is a 7 power. It has a reward of 2 delve and a fail consequence of 1 hit point. That's going to let me draw a card for every excess progress on the challenge. So if I overshoot it, I can draw some additional cards. So I probably want to put a little progress on this with Valora's ability before I kind of go for it to give myself some additional card draw. The Inky Morass is when I attempt this challenge, I must first discard a card. So it is a 9, and then lets me delve in for 5. So, but I do want to be careful that I don't engage this one too many times, because it's going to cost me cards out of my hand, despite the fact that it doesn't have a lose consequence. So just kind of looking at the cards I have in my hand here, I really might want to go straight at Callous's Cipher. It is going to cost me quite a few cards out of my initial hand, which is not great because it's going to cause me to take exhaustion pretty quickly. And I don't see anything that is going to let me get rid of exhaustion on my board. So I have to be pretty careful about that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I think I am just going to go straight at the Cipher. I don't know if that's good or not, but I'm just going to give it a try because it seems okay. So when I choose one of these challenges to overcome, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play a skill card that's coming out of my hand. That's going to represent my initial kind of action that I'm taking. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Capture Rune on Callous's Cipher. And now I have to decide if I want to boost it. Now, since I'm playing solo, I can choose up to 2 cards in my hand to boost, but those cards do have to be able to interact with blue, and I won't be able to use the special text ability on those cards, so I can't just kind of throw them away willy-nilly. Another consideration is I do have Valora's Bow in my hand. That's going to give me +1 to the value of any of the bow tagged cards that I play as an action. So that is making me want to play those cards as actions instead of boosts, just so that I get that extra little bit of progress on it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it ride. Now actually I'm going to use Eyes of the Huntress as a boost, because that's going to give me +1, and then it'll give me +1 for every bow tag I have down here, which is just going to be the 1. So if I look at this, I'm going to have 3 progress, and then another 2 progress from my boost, 1 from the number, 1 from the bow, and then I played a bow tagged card as an action, which is going to give me an additional progress. So right now, I'm looking at 6 total power. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the dice. So these dice here are going to add some pretty randomized power potentially to my roll. 3 of these have green, red, and blue on them, and I will get another success or another progress for each one that matches the card I'm going for. And then I have a black and white die right here. If I roll white, it acts as a wild card. If I roll black, it does not give me any progress. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that and see what happens. So I got 1 blue and nothing else. So that would give me an additional progress. So here in this case, I got 6 from my cards and 1 from my dice. So that, with Callous's Cipher, that puts me up to 7 progress. So I'm halfway home, which is good, but I will get rid of both of those cards. I failed the challenge, but I don't have any consequences for Callous's Cipher because it doesn't have any printed on the card. So now the next thing I've got to look at is I've got to figure out what I want to try next. And I think this is where I'm going to pull out Noble Education as my next action. So, and the reason I'm doing that is, well, 1, it's blue, so it can interact with Callous's Cipher. But then it also lets me draw a card or move up to 2 progress from any card to a challenge. Now, Callous does begin the game with 10 progress on him, but if he loses all of that progress before I reach the bottom of the well, I'm going to lose the game. So, oh, and actually, I made a mistake. So before, remember, I used eyes, and this is what happens when you play a new game, but feel free to crucify me in the comments, I guess. I knew there was a reason I did this, but I did play these 2 bow tagged cards on my turn. And Valora, for each bow tag card I play as an action or boost, I may add 1 progress to any challenge not currently completed. So I can just go ahead and add a couple of these challenge markers to the planetarium from that action. And that is going to let me move if I want to with Noble Education. So right now I have an automatic 3 progress because that's what's on the card. And I can move up to 2, which would put me at 12 total. So I can decide if I want to boost with another card, or I can just kind of go for it on the dice. So since there's no fail condition here, there's no consequence, I think I'm just going to try and roll for it. So I'm looking for a couple of blues and or the white. Let's see how it goes. All right, so I got nothing. Yep, that's how it goes. So I guess I get that out of the way while there's no consequence, so that's all right. And I'm going to put my 3 over here. That gets me to 10 total progress on Callous Cipher. So going back to my hand, I do have 1 more blue card that can interact. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and use my Acid Arrow. That is a bow tagged card, so in addition to its 1 progress, it's going to give me a bonus progress from Valora's bow. And after this action, place 2 extra progress on the challenge you choose from the Guardian from Afar ability. And that's Valora's ability that I was using earlier. So that's going to let me place extra challenge. So currently, I'm sitting at 10 here. And I'm sitting at 10. This gives me 2, which means I would need an additional 2 to be able to finish Callous's Cipher, which means I could roll for it. Even though I've been super lucky here yet, I'm going to give that a try because I don't have any other cards in my hand that will interact with Callous's Cipher with a boost. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and roll. Hopefully I see some blue and white. I see nothing. So this is really working out for me so far. So I'm going to place 1 progress on Callous Cipher, and then from Acid Arrow and Guardian from Afar, that's going to let me place 3 total progress on any of these challenges. So I'm going to place that on the planetarium because I want to be able to exceed that and try to draw some cards. So looking at what I've got left on the board, I've got the triplet. I've got no more cards in hand that are going to interact with Callous Cipher, unfortunately. So so I have 3 greens and a red. I really don't want to go after Inky Morass because that is going to make me discard cards. But I do have 5 on the planetarium, and I have a couple of cards in hand that would let me take advantage of the planetarium. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Splatter Arrow next. So Splatter Arrow is worth 4. 5 because I have Valora's bow in hand, and it's a bow tagged card. It also has an ability for after this action, suffer 1 damage for each time it was boosted. So I really don't want to do that. I don't want to boost at all. But I'm just going to try and roll. And this time I'm looking for green to see if I can exceed that number and draw some cards. So this time I actually do roll decently well. So that's going to give me 2 more progress. So I'll take a total of 5 from Splatter Arrow and make that 6, 7 from my roll. And I already had 5 on the card, which is going to give me a total of 12. So that means that I exceeded by 5, and I'm going to be able to draw 5 cards into my hand. 4, 5. All right, so now maybe we can take another run at the cipher. All right, so I'm going to clear the planetarium, and the benefit for clearing the planetarium is going to be I get to delve for 2. So I'm going to discard the planetarium into the well discard, and then I'm going to discard 2 additional well cards. And then I'm going to populate another one. Okay, and that is Hungry Chest. When this challenge enters play, move 1 progress from every other card onto it. Okay, so I'm going backwards a little bit on Callous's Cipher, and that takes 1 off of Callous himself. So I'm just going to need to make sure that I'm not wasting too much time as I'm rocking through some of these challenges. Okay, so looking now at the board, nothing's really changed on the bottom, but I have some more cards to deal with right now. Callous' Cipher is sitting at 10. Hungry Chest is sitting at 2. And I have added, so in addition to my Sharp Eyes, Trailblazer, and Valora's Bow, I've added Standing Tall, Compassionate, Calm Diplomat, Shot to the Knee, oh, I guess this is a Skyrim card, and Master Tracker to my hand. So we're going to give this a quick look. So looking at my hand, I've got a little bit of green, no blue, 2 of my white cards, and a couple of red. So I'm decently equipped for the board. I think I have Callous' Cipher in my sights. I think I just want to go for it. That benefit seems like it would be really good. So I think that's where I want to go. So I'm going to use Standing Tall, and that is going to give me 3 progress, and then I get to roll the dice, and I've rolled a blue, so that is going to give me a total of 4 progress, which is exactly how much I need to clear Callous' Cipher. Now also, since I didn't boost this action, I can either flip my lantern or remove an exhaustion. So I don't have any exhaustion at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and flip my lantern. So this is going to reveal Valora's lantern ability, which is Snipe. So if I play this, I can play this as an action, just like I would any of the cards from my hand. I don't roll, but but it has a value of X. X is equal to any value from 0 to 7, my choice. It's also a white card, so I've got quite a bit of flexibility here. So you can see that, it kind of took a little bit of doing for me to get that flipped. So I want to be careful about how I use this, but I also want to make sure that I don't waste, if I have any more lantern flips, I'm going to make sure I don't waste them. I want to use this card and get the most use I can out of it. So we are going to clear progress from Callous' Cipher. Since I did not play a bow-tagged card, I do not get the Guardian from Afar ability. But I want to place Callous' Cipher right here just so I remember it. And that means that if it's a non-combat challenge that comes out of the deck, I get to put 2 progress on it. So additionally, the benefit of this card was I get to delve for 4. So I'll do that. And then I'll repopulate the well. So this is a combat challenge, so Callous' Cipher does not fire off. It also has an on-play ability, so when this challenge enters play, remove 1 progress from Callous. Okay, I'm going to do that. So gotta make sure that I'm not, gotta make sure that I'm not wasting any more time. Yeah, he's got 8 left. I don't know how prevalent those effects are in the deck, so it's just going to be an unpleasant surprise. So looking back at the board, it looks like I'm really decently well set up maybe to hit the triplets. It doesn't match up great. It doesn't match up really great, honestly. But actually, I think what I can do is I can go ahead and I could take out the Hungry Chest. I don't get a reward for it, which isn't great. But I can at least get rid of it and maybe give myself an opportunity to get something else that I might be able to. Yeah, and then I can also use Guardian from Afar then to make my life a little easier. So I'm going to play Shot to the Knee here. And again, it's bow tagged, and I still have Valora's bow in hand. So I'm going to put a total of 3 onto the Hungry Chest, which will overcome the challenge. Unfortunately, it does not have a benefit or win benefit of any sort. So I'm just going to have to bin it. But I do get to put 2 progress on the triplets, which will make them easier to fight in one go the next time. So I'm going to discard that card, and I'm going to draw my next challenge. So this is a trap. It is an Exquisite Bloom. It is not a combat, so I get to put 2 progress on it. It's red, and if I fail it, I discard 1 card for every progress this challenge still needs to be completed. So that is another one that I really don't know that I want to mess with until I'm pretty sure that I can defeat it. Yeah, but it does give me 5 Delve, which really accelerates me. So I do like that. Okay, so looking at our options here, I can try to go for the triplets. I do have Calm Diplomat in hand and a couple of green boosts. I would really hate to lose Valora's Bow because that's been really good for me so far, giving me some additional progress. I have Sharp Eyes that does not let me roll. So if I use Calm Diplomat to try to get rid of the triplets, that means I would need to roll 2 green/whites to be able to get out of there without a penalty. All right, so I think that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to play Calm Diplomat, and I've rolled a lot of greens so far lately, so let's see what we can do. And honestly, losing a hit point at this point isn't terrible. Oh boy, man, we have not rolled well at all in this game. Hopefully I'm getting all those out of the way. So that is going to bin Calm Diplomat. I do put 3 progress on the triplets, which gets me to 5, but I am going to have to take a point of damage. So unfortunate, but that's just what we've got to do. All right, now I'm looking at the board now, and I think I don't really want to use Snipe yet, but we can just straight up take out the twins. If I use Sharp Eyes, I can straight up take out the triplets, and I won't have to worry about my rolls because the card doesn't let me roll this turn at all. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So that's going to be a total of 3 power because I have the bow. And that will get me to progress 8, which will get the triplets out. And then that will give me 4 more Delve. And we'll repopulate the well. Okay, so that's another combat challenge. So going after Callous' Cipher really quickly has been pretty limited, honestly, because we keep drawing combats, but that's okay. And actually, I did not trigger my Guardian from Afar ability last turn, so I'm going to go ahead and do that on Exquisite Bloom because I really don't want to fail that and have to discard. As it is right now, I'm running out of cards, and yeah, I'm running out of cards, and I don't want to exhaust myself too many times. So we'll see. I think I'm coming to the point where I'm just going to have to exhaust myself. That's okay. So I can take out Exquisite Bloom right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to play Trailblazer. Oh, no, I'm not. Because that is -4, because it has progress markers on it. So unfortunately, if I decide to exhaust, I have to discard my whole hand. And I think I need to go a little further. So let's do this. I'm still going to play Trailblazer, but instead of Exquisite Bloom, I'm going to put it on Inky Morass. That is going to force me to discard a card. And I'm going to discard Master Tracker because I don't think I have any use for it at the moment, and I'm probably going to have to discard it anyway. And then I'm going to go ahead and use Compassionate to boost, because it can't be played as an action, only as a boost. And again, I'm going to have to discard it anyway. So I might as well go ahead and try and get the most use out of my cards. Now I'm looking for a red or a white to be able to finish off the Inky Morass. And I get neither a red nor a white. Man, it's a 1 in 3 chance on each die. It's just not working out well for us tonight. That's okay. We play games for fun, right? All right, so I'm going to discard both of those cards into my discard pile. Now, Inky Morass does not have a consequence because the consequence is I already had to discard something. So this is the point where I only have one card in hand. I only have a Valora's Bow. I don't want to just use it and take damage for something when I don't know what's coming in my hand next. So I think at this point I'm going to take an exhaustion and draw backup. So the first thing I've got to do is discard the cards that remain in my hand. I'm going to shuffle these up real quick and draw an exhaustion. All right, so I get life leached away. That is going to remove 2 progress from Callous, and then shuffle this card back into the exhausted deck. So, all right, so we're taking more progress off of him, but no lasting effects. Some of these are going to have like conditions that stay in play, so at least I haven't had one of those yet. But Callous only has 6 progress left, and as we can see, it's been coming off quasi-steadily, and the deck has still got quite a few things in it. So let's go back to my deck. I'm going to take 8 new cards, shuffle back up, and let's see what we've got. Whoops. One, two, three. Okay. All right, so back in our hand. So we have Quick Shot, we have Well Traveled, we have Fleet Arrow, Honed Reflexes, Solid Shot, Capture Rune, Standing Tall, and Calm Diplomat. So we've got a few new cards we didn't see last time. And Quick Shot is pretty interesting to me. Like, that's just the first thing. Because this one is going to let me, if I have any bow tagged cards left in my hand, I can return Quick Shot to my hand. So it's going to let me cycle it quite a few times if I do it correctly. Now, I don't want to do it just like willy-nilly because I don't want to keep taking a lot of damage from some of these combat encounters, but something for me to keep in mind. So what I think I want to do is I can just go ahead and I can actually get rid of 2 challenges this turn. And that's what I think I want to do. So I am going to use Solid Shot. Now I no longer have Valora's Bow in hand because I have forced to discard it. So this is only going to be worth 4 progress. But it does let me get rid of Exquisite Bloom because I get to a total of 8. And with Guardian from Afar, I can add 1 progress to any challenge not currently being attempted. So that is going to get me to 9 on Inky Morass. And when those challenges are completed outside of my turn, i.e. I'm not spending an action card to go directly at them, I can still get the benefit. In a multiplayer game, if the same thing happened, the current player would reap whatever benefit is given for it being completed. But since it's just me, I'm just going to go ahead and take and be able to get both of these win benefits. So I'm going to be able to delve a total of 10 cards, which we really need. So because 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, because Callous only has 6 progress left. So we want to make sure we're continuing to make progress. So Exquisite Bloom, Inky Morass, see you later. And now we're going to draw Failed Experiment, which is combat, and the Extraction Room, which is an obstacle. And because we have the Cipher, we get to put 2 progress on that. Okay, now these are both consequential cards because the Failed Experiment is each time another challenge is discarded, suffer 2 damage. So that means that anytime I overcome another one of these challenges, it's gonna cause me to take 2 damage, and that's not good for me because I only have 9 left, and 2 is a chunk. So I definitely do not want to do that. I probably want to really take care of Failed Experiment first. And worth noting is that I do have Standing Tall in my hand, so I have the ability to refresh my my lantern. So it might be worth it to just go ahead and use Snipe at this point, and I can set X at 7, which is going to kill the Failed Experiment and get that off the board, which I think is pretty good here. And that's going to let me delve 2 more. Now, since Snipe is not a bow tagged card, I do not get to use Guardian from Afar, but that's fine at this point. I really think that I want to be putting any excess I have into Extraction Room because I do not want to remove any more progress from Callous. So I really want to get rid of... and plus it gives extra for husks that are in play. I have 2. So I do not want to... Yeah, I might just lose the game if I do that. All right, so another combat encounter, the Life Form. Ooh, it also lets me refresh my lantern, which is great. But it's 7 total progress I need, and if failed, I'm going to suffer damage equal to the value of the action you played. Okay, so I don't want to play like a huge card and fail it. That would insta-kill me. All right, so looking at the board, where we want to be, I think we probably want to... The Life Form seems like a great place to be, although I have to really get him in one go. So I probably just want to focus on getting some. Probably want to focus on getting some extra progress on him from Guardian from Afar, and then take him out in one swoop. Plus, I have Capture Rune back in hand. That's going to let me fail a combat without a penalty. So I think that's a good idea, because I can go with that blue husk with that card. So I think that's where we're going to start. And I think I can just play this out, and this has not worked out for me at all when I try to roll it. But I don't have any boosts in hand either. I do have one boost that will work for it. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost with Well Traveled. So that's going to give me an additional +1, so 4 total. It means I'd have to roll 3 successes, but I mean, it's got to come back to me sooner or later, right? So let's see what we get. All right, we got 1 blue, and that black and white die just really does not love us. So that's going to be a total of 5. 4, 5 on the husk. Now, since I used Capture Rune, I do not take the penalty. So I don't take the damage, which is kind of one of the things I was thinking about there. All right, so, and I did play 1 bow tagged card, so I'm going to put that on the Life Form. Just try and get it down just a little bit. All right, looking back at my hand, I've got some options here. So I can use Standing Tall, because that is going to let me take out the husk, get something else on the Life Form, and then I can potentially kill it next turn. Plus, it lets me refresh my lantern. So actually, here's what I think I'm going to do, because this lets me really maximize my lantern usage here. So I'm going to use Standing Tall and I'm going to go after the husk. So I'm going to roll, and I'm probably going to roll really well because I don't need it. There we go. So we get a blue and a white there. So a total of 5, which is going to kill the husk. Yep. All right, so I am going to flip my lantern because of Standing Tall. I didn't boost the action. So the husk is going to the bin, and then I get to just flip 3 more cards to continue delving. And that is going to bring out the Mental Parasite. That is a trap. Oh, wow. That's not great. So every time I roll black on the black die, I discard a card, and the Mental Parasite's fail is that I discard 2 cards. That's not good at all. Well, so I really was set that I was going to use Snipe on the Life Form, and that might still be the right answer. But man, Mental Parasite is rough, because if I do roll that black, I'm going to have to discard a card, which is going to speed up some exhaustion. It just makes it a little risky. It makes my line a little riskier here. And I can't interact with Mental Parasite at all other than with Snipe. So again, that just makes it pretty dangerous. And I don't have a boost. So here's, I mean, I'm kind of looking at my lines here. So if I go straight at Mental Parasite, it means that I have basically a 50-50 shot of losing a card from that ability. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to put, it's a trap, so it does have 2 progress on it. I don't think that changes my line at all. I mean, it makes it easier because now I don't have to risk the roll. Well, I mean, I have to roll, but it's less risky because I don't have to roll blue or white. All right, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to use Snipe there. I hate to do it, but I just don't think I can risk this being out on the board with that ability. So I'm gonna just make X6, kill the Mental Parasite, and well, I've got to roll the dice. I get 50-50 shot of having to discard a card, which I do because, man, that black and white die has not been kind. I'm going to dump Honed Reflexes here. I think that's probably my least useful card. But I do get to delve 3 more into the deck. Okay, and then let's replace. All right, so we've got a Husk, and that's going to remove a Progress. So, all right, he's got 5 left. I don't know how many Husks are in the deck. But we're pretty, like, the well deck is looking pretty small, so I've probably got some time. I would really like to, be able to do something here. So what I think I may have to do is I may have to, because I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to exhaust anyway, so I think I'm in like hand dumping mode. And if I'm going to be in hand dumping mode, I think that I want it to be at the life form so that I can pull my lantern back out. So then so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Fleet Arrow as my action because that is going to give me 2, but it also lets me draw 2 cards after the action. And then I get a total of, so more boost. So that's going to get me to 4, 5, 6. So that should kill the life form. And then I'm going to roll. Yeah, so I definitely killed it. I did not need the greens or the white on that. So of course I rolled them all. But that's going to let me get rid of the life form and flip my lantern, which I can use. And I played 2 bow tagged cards, so I'm going to put 2 progress on the extraction room, and then get rid of those, and I'm going to draw 2. So I don't delve anything because that wasn't part of my my benefit. So I'm just going to put out Resonant Stone. It's a puzzle, so Cypher's going to give me 2 progress. And this is, all other challenges gain -1 difficulty. If you fail any other challenge, fail it in an extra time. So really a double-edged sword there. Yeah, whew, boy. So let's look at what we have in hand. So we've picked up Noble Education and we've picked up Compassionate. Unfortunately, oh, actually, no, we're good. So Noble Education is blue and green, so that is going to let me interact with Extraction Room. I think I need to get rid of Extraction Room because I want to add some more progress to Callous at this point. And there's no reason to take a risk because I'm going to have to exhaust anyway. I can't use Compassionate as a card by itself. Like as an action card, it has to be as a boost. So I might as well use it to guarantee my guarantee myself the ability to get rid of Extraction Room. So that is going to give me a total of 7, and when I roll 3 additional, so 10, I absolutely obliterate the Extraction Room, which is good. Got to get that out of there. So I completed it, so I delve 3 and add 2 progress to Callous. So that's good. It gives me a little breathing room in case I see another Husk or that exhaustion comes back out. All right, so we're going to delve for 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'll flip this card. All right. So that is going to be the failed experiment again. We've seen that. That's a combat. So no additional progress on it. All right, that leaves me empty-handed, so I have to exhaust. So I'm going to shuffle up the exhaust deck again. And we're going to see what we get. Okay. This is going to be Callous Grows Angry. Each time I suffer 1 or more damage, I suffer 1 extra damage. So this is going to stay in play. So that's not... I've got a lot of... Actually, every consequence on the board is damage right now. So we're going to have to be careful. It's just going to be some additional... it's going to be some additional math I have to do to see if something's worth it. I'm sitting at 9. I'm in a good spot with the deck, but I don't know what the showdown with the boss looks like at the end, so just got to be a little careful. I have Snipe up, so overall I think I'm in a good spot. So I'll go ahead and draw my 8 cards. And exactly 8. Okay. Let's see what we've got. So we've got Splatter Arrow. That was great for us last time. Acid Arrow, Eyes of the Huntress, Master Tracker, Sharp Eyes, Trailblazer, Shot to the Knee, and Valora's Bow. So the nice thing here is we've got a lot of bow tagged cards, and we've got Valora's Bow, so that's going to let us really put a hurtin' on a few of these things. So that is pretty good. All right, so now we're looking... we really want to go after Failed Experiment, I think, again first, because it has that clause where each time another challenge is discarded, I'm going to suffer 2. So I really don't want to suffer more damage than I really have to at this point. So I'm thinking that I want to go ahead and try and get him down. I really don't want to use Snipe right here. I really want to try and save that a little bit because I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to exhaust myself to be able to get it from my deck. I don't know what's coming out in terms of benefits, so I really don't want to use it quite yet. So I think what I might have to do... Oh man, that really... And Callous Grows Angry is not great for Splatter Arrow, honestly. So I'm going to have to really be careful there. Okay, so if I play Sharp... If I play Sharp Eyes... I'm going to move this around just a little bit so I can... There we go. If I play Sharp Eyes, I can play up to 2 cards to boost. That would be 2. This would get me to Splatter Arrow played as a boost would get me to 5, which means I need to roll 2. Actually, I would only need to roll 1 because I have Valora's Bow back in hand. So it should be academic, but with the way I've been rolling tonight, I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of confidence here. All right, luckily we rolled the 1 white we needed to get to 7. Oh boy, that was the thing. So we're going to get rid of that Failed Experiment, and we're going to delve 2 more. And we're going to see what else comes out. Another Hungry Chest, so move 1 progress from every other card to it. So, man, these useless cards don't do anything. Okay, so that is a little bit of a bummer. I would love to... Oh, and actually, I missed that. I sure missed that. I sure missed that trigger again on Guardian from afar. Gotta give myself every shot. So this is where I think I want to get rid of Resonant Stone here, because I think I can, and I really, as much as the -1 is good, I really think I have a plan. Yeah, I think I have a plan here. So I'm going to use Shot to the Knee. That is going to get +1 for every bow tagged card in my hand. So it's going to get 2 more because I've got Acid Arrow and Eyes of the Huntress. And I get an additional 1 from Valora's Bow. So I'm going to use that. So that's a total of 4, 5, which is going to be enough to get rid of Resonant Stone by itself. Which is good because I only got 1 white. But I did play 1 tagged card, so I'm going to put it on one of the husks. I'm going to get rid of Resonant Stone. That's going to let me delve 3 more. And there we are. So the well deck is empty, but I'm not going to trigger the final phase until I go to add something to the well and I have nothing left. So I'm not quite there yet. So I think at this point I just want to get rid of Hungry Chest because I don't care about the delves anymore because I'm at the bottom. So it's going to mean, yeah, I'm just going to go Eyes of the Huntress, and I need to roll 1 to get rid of it. So a red or a white. There we go. We get a red and a white, and I'm going to get rid of Hungry Chest. Unfortunately, no conditions for that. So now is where I'm going to start the bottom of well phase. Okay, so what I'm going to do is so everything that's remaining here, so I've got these 3 husks that I'm going to remove. So that because I reached the bottom of the well, his minions aren't going to give him his protection anymore. But I am going to add these 4 gauntlet cards, and this is going to be the final gauntlet that I have to go through to be able to reach Callous. He's also going to flip. So I guess I got a little too skeeved out by the progress, although with different draws, maybe it's an issue. All right, so we can see here that he is his challenge is the Battle of Wits, which is a puzzle. So if I fail and roll black, discard a card at random from your hand and suffer damage equal to its value. Ooh boy. So I really need to be careful there. Now, since he's still surrounded by cards, I am going to have to overcome more of these challenges to be able to take on Callous directly. You'll notice that card is black. That means that none of the cards I have in my hand are going to be able to interact with it at all. I'm also super glad here that I tried to keep my health total high because that Battle of Wits, that fail condition can really play some hell with my plan here. Okay, so if we look at the 4 gauntlet cards, and I'll bring them up to the top so we can get a good look at them. So each of them is something that I need to overcome to be able to open a way for me to get to Callous. Now, I haven't looked at these since this is my first playthrough, so I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen when I flip the cards, but it's going to give him some kind of weakness. I imagine it might be maybe he'll be vulnerable to that card type or something similar. And for combat 002, I would need to be able to discard a challenge, which is something that I can do from some hero abilities or from some benefits. So I can't actually complete the challenge directly. I would have to figure out another way to discard it somehow. Okay, so as I'm looking at my hand, I am not super well equipped. These are all combat challenges, so the Cypher doesn't do anything for us. And I am not super well set up to go right at anything. But I'm in a good position where I can use Trailblazer and Master Tracker to be able to put a little bit of a chunk into red. And then maybe on my next turn, I just go ahead and take it out with Snipe and kind of see where I get. So I'm going to try that. So I'm going to use Trailblazer and I'm going to use Master Tracker as the boost. So Trailblazer, I'm using that now because if I am attacking anything that has progress on it, I'm going to get a -4. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that so I can put 4 progress on it from Trailblazer, and I can another from Master Tracker. So I'm almost halfway home. I'll discard those two. I did fail that challenge because I didn't overcome it in that instance. So I am going to take a, I'm going to take a hit point worth of damage, taking me down to 8. Oh, you know what? I forgot to roll. All right, so that gives me 2 more successes because I rolled a white and a red. So I'll go ahead and add those 2. Okay, so I have a little bit of a decision to make here because I am currently at, so combat 0001 is currently sitting at 7. I got to decide if I want to waste snipe on that because combat 003 is a pretty bad consequence if I want to go for it, and it's only a 9, so I would really hate to use it, but I'll have to exhaust myself if I want to be able to go after it. But I think what I'm going to do. All right, I think here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use. I'm going to try and use my cards as efficiently as I can. So I'm going to use Acid Arrow, and I'm going to use it on Immortality. Now, because I have the bow in hand, that will give me a +1. But I'm also going to use the bow to boost. So I think that means that it invalidates that that +1. So which is fine. So that's going to be a total of 1, 2, 3 that I'm going to put on Immortality, and then I'm going to roll. So that's going to give me 1 additional success because I rolled the white for a total of 4 on Immortality. Now I did have a progress that I can put out for Guardian from Afar, and I think I'm going to put that on Combat 0003 because I'm going to try to see if I can get it down just in case 0001 doesn't work out well and I'm not taking a 3 card. Oh, and you know what? I should have taken another hit point worth of damage because I forgot about the Callous Grows Angry. So I got to do that. And, oh yeah, I actually go down to, 6 because I was not able to beat Immortality. So we are 9 and 4. All right, so let's, so we were at 9 when we started this out. We should have taken 2 from 0001 and 2 more from Immortality. So we're going to be sitting at 5. So that was a chunk of damage we have taken. Hopefully this is not going to be too bad for us. All right. So we have Callous Grows Bored. Each time you discard 1 or more cards from your hand, discard an extra card. Okay, so that's another stays in play. That makes 0003 really scary. Because now if I fail against 0003, instead of discarding 3 hands, I'm going to discard 4. And actually it makes Battle of Wits absolutely terrifying because it means I'm going to have to discard 2 cards. This is honestly not looking great for us. Yeah, that's not looking great for us at all. But, we'll see what we can do. We got to the end. 8. All right, so not a bad draw, actually. We've got Sharp Eyes, we've got Quick Shot, Noble Education, Well Traveled, Eyes of the Huntress, Solid Shot, Honed Reflexes, and Valora's Bow is just a huge draw here. Yeah, it's an absolutely huge draw because it's going to let us get a little extra damage in. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go after 0001. So if I use Eyes of the Huntress, that's going to be 3 progress, which should kill it. I'm going to make my roll because that's what we do. And I'm going to get 2 additional. So 2 from the card, 1 from Valora's Bow, and 2 more is going to be 5 total. Adding that to the 7 we have here means that I have overcome the challenge. So so instead of a normal instead of a normal win con, it lets me flip it. I am going to do Guardian from Afar because that was part of our plan for 0003. So we're going to see what happens here. So this means Callous is now vulnerable to red actions. Okay, so that's kind of what we thought, is now we'll be able to hurt him with red actions. We like that. And we're going to go ahead and bin Eyes of the Huntress here. So not a bad start. Now, I'm trying to decide. So what, do I want to save Snipe for... do I want to save Snipe for Callous? Because I could just take a chunk out of him right now. Or without a roll even, because that's just so good to be able to do that. Or I could get rid of 0003 and give myself a little bit of... that'll probably make him vulnerable to blue cards, which I know, I definitely have in my deck, if not in my hand. Man, and I have a couple of good red cards in my hand. But herein kind of lies the issue. If I run out of my red cards, if I run out of my red cards, it's gonna kind of put me in a difficult spot where maybe I would really wish that. It's tough. It's definitely a tough decision. I think I probably need to give myself a decent chance to win. And man, I honestly don't... With these two exhaustions, I think that I've talking myself back into it. So I think what I've got to do with these exhaustions and the fact that I only have 5 life, I think I just need to go for it, honestly. I don't really think I can afford to... dawdle with him, and maybe if I get lucky with some of my rolls and I don't roll the black. Luck with my rolls has not been a theme of this evening so far, so I'm not really counting on it, but I think my best line of play is just to try and shotgun him down and hope that that's going to get me there. And I think I'm going to need to be a little lucky to win this game, is what I'm trying to say. So maybe if I don't have many, or if I can sculpt my hand in such a way that I can control how much damage he's doing to me, then I might be able to pull this out. And I'm kind of talking myself into that. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to snipe, and I do not roll for snipe, so I'm just going to do straight up 7 damage to him. And then I am going to go back to my hand, and I think solid shot is where I'm going to go next. So that's going to be a straight up 5 with the Valor's Bow boost. And then I have to decide if I want to boost or if I want to... and actually, I think what I want to do is I want to use well-traveled here, which is going to give me an additional +1. And then I'm going to roll, and I'm going to hope that I don't hit black. Whew, which I don't. Okay, but I don't get any more progress. I only get the 1 boost, so that's going to be 5, 6, 7 more progress. All right, so we're doing pretty well here to start. So we'll get rid of those. And I did that one of those. That was a bow shot. So I'm going to put a progress on immortality, and I'm going to do that so because I'm the closest to being able to take him down. And if I can just do some splash damage to immortality, maybe that will really help me to get this going. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Sharp Eyes, and the reason I'm going to Sharp Eyes is because I don't roll with Sharp Eyes, so the fail condition is not going to hit me. So that is going to be a total of, I have no available boosts, unfortunately. But that's going to be a total of 3 with the bow. So I'm going to be able to put 3 more progress on him, bringing me up to 15, 16, 17. So he's only got 8 life left. Now, my hand is pretty burned as far as my red cards go. So I think I need to try to... Oh, and I'm going to put another on immortality from using Sharp Eyes. So I think this is where, like, again, I'm going to have to get a little bit lucky with this configuration. Yeah, I'm definitely have to get a little bit lucky, but I'm going to try it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go at immortality, and I'm going to use Noble Education. That's going to be a total of 3 because the bow does not affect it. He's got 6. 3 is 9. So that means I need to roll 1 green or white to not take 2 more damage. I really need this. Let me look at my... Actually, yeah, because no bow is a big deal here. Yeah, I don't know that there's really a better way to do it. Yeah, I think it's going to be Noble Education because we're going to need another card too. So, come on, let's do it. All right, so we do get a green, getting us up to 10 total progress on Immortality. So that's going to be 10. We're going to go ahead and flip him. All right, when rolling, if none of the 3 skill dice match the challenge's color, turn this card face up. And the camera has not paused or stopped. I'm just kind of like looking at this and wondering about my life choices. So that does like actually nothing. Oh, I guess, sorry. Yeah, so I had to do that because I cannot complete Callous's challenge and win the game with immortality still showing. So, yeah, I had to do it. So never mind. Never mind my sorrow that I placed on the stack. So I am going to get to draw a card because I don't want to move any progress from any card to a challenge. I don't want to do that because I don't want to give him more hit points. I'm just going to have to hope I draw a good card here. So which I've done. And I drew Fleet Arrow. So after this action, draw 2 cards. So unfortunately, all my cards are green, which does nothing for me. And I am going to have to take an exhaustion and redraw my hand because I can't damage him. All right, so hopefully it's not terrible. All right, Looming Doom. If you've reached the bottom of the well, suffer 2. Then shuffle this card back into the exhausted deck. All right. Well, I mean, the nice thing is we got rid of the thing. Or no, we didn't. So I'm going to take 3 total damage, and I'm going to go to 2 life. But we're going to draw some cards. All right. What did I say? Remember, guys, a little bit lucky. 8. All right. So this is where hopefully we drew the one that's going to give us our... Okay. All right. So our new hand of cards, we have Calm Diplomat, Trailblazer, Master Tracker, Compassionate, Standing Tall, Acid Arrow, Splatter Arrow, and Shot to the Knee. So we have 3, 6, 12, 15, 17. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17. All right. So we've got 17 total progress here. I can only use red cards. And I do have white too. So the question is, can I defeat him? I think I can. All right. So if I use Standing Tall, that's going to give me 3. Splatter Arrow will give me 2. And Shot to the Knee will give me 1. So 6 total, which gets me to 23. Oh, baby. Okay, actually, I can... Hold on. Let's take that back. So Compassionate will give me +4 to my boost. So it'll be 3, 4, 5, 9. So that will kill Callous. Oh my goodness, guys, that was something. Wow, took it all the way to the end as Valora sits on 2 hit points. She's been exhausted. She's like covered in gore and callous juice and whatnot. And we tried to cheat because I didn't read that card carefully enough. So that, and luckily I did not roll that off, which actually, well, you know, I probably do need to roll this. Okay, and we're back. So, okay, so all right, so we still have to get a little bit lucky. We celebrated prematurely. So I have to roll, even though I am showing him at dead based on my cards. What has to happen is I have to roll a red on these dice. Otherwise, this card will turn over and Callous cannot be defeated because he is considered a challenge. So, yeah, we got a little bit of a chance here. We got to roll a red. And we got the red. Oh, man. Okay, now we have well and truly won this game. Unless I made a mistake elsewhere, which I hope I didn't. Whew, okay, that really came down to it in the end. I really was feeling good about my life total, my hand, my lantern, and everything coming out of it. But man, a couple of those challenges were really, really rough, but we managed to get to Callous in the end. His power ended up not mattering, which was awesome. And overall, yeah, that was, you know, pretty tight, hopefully a pretty tight game. So as you can see, this game plays pretty nicely, fits pretty nicely into an hour. I took just over an hour, but part of that was I explained some of the rules and how all of this was going, talked through all my turns. I really think that though the box says 60 minutes, you could get through this game in like a tight 40 to 45. And really, like, it could be a game where if you're a hybrid worker, this could be a lunch break style game. So yeah, I really ended up loving this game, but we'll talk a little bit more about it in our wrap. But hey, thanks for watching. So now that we've had a chance to play through an on-camera game, let's go back to that original question. Does Kinfire Delve deliver on its promise of giving me a nice adventure in a small box and in just a short amount of time? Spoiler alert, it does. So first let's look at who is this game actually for? Who's going to get the most out of this? And really, the biggest, I think, a person who's really going to like this game is the solo gamer who really likes a quick, low-maintenance experience. So just setting this game up and taking it down are such a quick and easy experience. I think that my setup and teardown for the game combined was probably less than 5 minutes. And that's even with doing a quick rules refresher before the game that I just played for you. So if you are one of those people who is looking to get a good experience that you can do like over your lunch, if you're an at-home worker or just something after the kids get to bed, absolutely this game is for you because it really delivers on that promise of being just a quick, easy, minimalistic type of setup. I also think that if you really like variable powers, you're going to like this game because not only did I have one adventurer, so I used Valora for this particular playthrough, but there's also the other adventurer still in the box who I've played with but just didn't play on camera. That's going to give you a whole new way to approach some of the problems in the game with both a different player power, a different lantern power, and a different deck setup. So if you really like games that give you like a different experience every time you play through, you're gonna like that aspect of it. Also, the way I'm going through the well as the game progresses and pulling out variable amounts of delve cards, seeing different experiences every time, gives you something that's a little different, even though your card pool is very limited. And if you also really like the kind of shifting puzzle elements of games, so if you like something that kind of changes based on what you drew, or you kind of see that a couple of times in my playthrough, or something that just isn't static, right? Something that's going to make you kind of re-examine the puzzle after every play. This game's also really going to speak to you, as there were definitely some draws that came out during my descent that really kind of changed my plan up and forced me to think about the new challenge that had been presented to me. So if you're really into all those game mechanics and elements, I really think that you are going to enjoy this game. So now for like the things I liked and the things I didn't. So the pros and cons of this game. First of all, the things I really liked are the really strong points of this game. First of all, I think I can't talk about this game without talking about the price point, because looking at this little box as a $20 experience really, I think, is an excellent jumping off point into any kind of solo gaming. Pretty low risk if you're only paying like $20 or $25 for this experience. So you've got 3 scenarios coming in the box, so 3 different ways to attack your big bad, which in this case was Callous, and then 2 different adventurers to make the delve with. Now, in addition, there are 2 other boxes that you could incorporate that have different baddies and different heroes. So if you invest just a little bit more into the game, $20 per box, you can create a lot of variable experience for not a lot of price point. So kind of putting that in perspective, the last game I played, 11, was about $50. You would spend $60 if you pick up all 3 Kinfire Delve expansions. So I really think that for your money, you're getting a great experience. The next thing that I really loved about this game was its intuitive play, though that can be a downside, and I'll tell you why. So if we look at the rule book, this is really it. Like, this is all that I've got here, just these, and there's even a couple of like advertisements in the rule book. So it's very rules light in the book, though you'll see additional rules on some of the cards, and the iconography on the back page is very important because that does a little bit of heavy lifting. But it's one of those games that if you've played similar deck buildery types of games, you will be able to delve right into this, and really be able to have a good time with it. Now, if you think that maybe that makes the game too samey, as opposed to some other deck buildery types of, or I wouldn't even call this a deck builder, but even more like a limited card game type of play, that might be something that's a little bit of a downside, but I thought that the ability to jump right into this and play, especially since I think that's the game's primary use case, is just a great upshot for it. The length for me is also a great selling point for this game. So as you could see, I think I took about a little under 60 minutes for my playthrough, and that is also given the fact that I was still early. It was only my 3rd real playthrough of the game, so I still had to kind of look at a couple of things up. But it fits very nicely into something like a lunch hour, fits really nicely into something like I mentioned before, you put the kids to bed and you just want to do something short before you head to bed yourself. Great upside for this game that you'll be able to do that. And kind of as a corollary, there's the space that the game takes up. So you can see from my playthrough that is a really small area that you're using up. So in addition to your pretty easy setup, teardown, and actual playthrough, you're going to be able to not take up a lot of space. If you're sitting at the kitchen table and maybe your spouse is sitting, doing something else, putting together a puzzle or whatever, you're not just like taking over your whole table playing this game. You're able to kind of get in and get out and have a great time with it. And also, even though like this is maybe just a little me thing, but I actually really like the component quality of the game. Like I'm sure you noticed as I was going through, like my player cards here have this neat foiling in the back of them that I just thought was a really cool touch. The cards are the nice linen card stock, so if this is something you'll play a lot, you probably still will want to sleeve it, but just how I've put it up right now, still the cards are nice enough that they shuffle very well. They won't show wear and tear super easily because they're kind of those upgraded materials. The dice are, they're just dice, but they're also, kind of chunky and heavy enough that you'll be able to roll them. It's satisfying. And then the only thing is really like your progress tokens right here are cardboard, but for me, that was just such a small part of the game. The cards are really the big part of this game. Then that's where I felt the quality was really there. Now, looking at some of the cons, where was this game maybe not as much for me? And honestly, there aren't a lot here because I just thought it was such a nice experience for the experience that I wanted from it. So that's kind of that, like, who is it for, target audience thing from before. I have to be a little nitpicky here. And the only thing that I really came up with was, so playing the game 3 times, just going through this deck with different heroes, again, I had a great time with it. There was just a lot of different things that happened, different kind of curveballs I got thrown that I had to account for. If I play this game 50 times, I'll probably have seen everything. I know that's an extreme case, but some of these solo games we kind of set up to take up several hours, right? That's a big piece of our hobby. So if that's kind of how you're wanting your solo game experience to be, if you're looking for something like Gloomhaven, this isn't going to be that, right? I would say maybe you get 10 plays of this before things maybe start to feel a little bit samey. I don't know that because I haven't quite gotten to 10 plays yet, but maybe just based on what I've seen and how many cards and variabilities in the deck. Now, that is helped out by the fact that you can buy the expansions and kind of mix and match a lot more and create a pretty nice varied experience. But just taking the base box in and of itself, the replayability might be limited. It might feel a little bit samey to you after a while. The other thing is the challenge for me was a little bit variable. So like I mentioned, I played 3 games. This one was definitely the closest one. The first game that I played, my card distribution just wasn't great, and I got absolutely clapped. It did not work out well for me, and it was not great. I got to the bottom of the well, the final boss, and died. My second game, I did manage to win, but I won a little more convincingly. This was definitely the closest game that I played. So kind of depending on the order in which some of those challenges come out, you may find that the difficulty of the game is going to swing a bit based on what comes out and how you kind of draw through your deck. Now, games like this, so if I look at this game and think, like, if you like these kinds of games, or if you like these few games, maybe you'll like this, or if you like this game, what are some other things you might try? I think Marvel Champions is a really great kind of comp to this game, in that they are both limited type card games. You've got a limited card pool. Now, in Marvel Champions, there's a lot more variability because you can build your deck differently, and in the box you've got additional heroes. But it's the same kind of thing. I've got a limited card pool that I've built, or in this case just comes in the box, that I'm going to use to kind of attack the well, or attack the scheme, as it were, as it is in Marvel Champions. So I think if you like one of these this game or Marvel Champions, I think you would really like the other one, though they're slightly different use cases. One Deck Dungeon is another game that I think is a pretty good comp for this, and if you like One Deck Dungeon, you'll probably end up liking Kinfire Delve. The biggest differences is that One Deck Dungeon does have that additional customization aspect available to you. If you like the whole kind of delving deeper and deeper in with your different heroes, I think you would still have a good time with this game, kind of recognizing that they're a bit different. And then the final game that I thought of really as I was going through this game is I kind of thought of the Escape series, and for a little different reason. Whereas my first 2 games were a little bit the same in terms of they're card-based, they involve delving into a dungeon and kind of improving your hero maybe a little bit. Escape is a one-time small box experience where you're going to see the challenges, escape from a room of some sort, and you're going to just be able to do it one time. So it shares a price point and a kind of a small box feel to this game. So if you liked those games, both for the value and maybe the limited replayability, then I think you'll really be into Kinfire Delve. So the final verdict, I am doing something a little bit different in this video, just as we evolve the voice. And instead of just a generic 1 to 5 rating, I'm going to kind of go like top it up and down and do something a little bit different. I'm still going to have 5 steps, but maybe they'll be a little more descriptive about where they fit in your overall solo collection. So the 5 is going to be no-brainer. Put this in your solo collection. You're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's generally considered a good game, good representation of mechanics, etc. The 4 is going to be a strong choice. It's good in almost every context. It is a good representation of a particular genre, and most people will really enjoy it and having it in your collection. The good fit is going to be the 3, and again, that's maybe a little less broad appeal, going to be a good fit for some people, but others are really just not, it's not going to be their thing, is going to kind of fall here. Not for everyone is going to be the number 2, and that is really like, it's either got a real specific niche, it's expensive, it's just not going to speak to people the way that things maybe a little higher up on the scale would. And finally, hard pass. Either this game is just way too expensive for what it gets you, not a good solo experience, poorly designed game, we're just not going to bother adding it to our collection. So for Kinfire Delve, I think this is a no-brainer, honestly. And I think it's a no-brainer because the pros are outweighing the cons, especially the price point and the ability to store it. Again, this is the box, folks. Like, I can throw this on my shelf. It's easy to store. For $20, if I get a few plays out of it and get a few hours out of it, I really feel like I've gotten my money's worth. Maybe I play it once or twice in its 2-player mode or 3 or 4-player mode if I add a couple of boxes to it. I just really think it's a fantastic value. And the experience is also a very good experience. So not only do you have that fantastic value, but you also have a really good, small, self-contained experience that I think you can get a good number of playthroughs through with, and it's not taking up just a ton of space on your shelf. So if you're just starting your solo collection, really starting to get interested in solo games, I think this is a stupendous starting point, and one I would recommend to absolutely everyone. So that is it for us tonight with Kinfire Delve. Hope you enjoyed watching, and hope that the overall review helps you as you think about adding it to your solo collection. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Always helps us with the algorithm. And other than that, have a great night, everyone. Thanks.
We work behind, pull up a chair.